If I were to say Ola to you, if you were Spanish, you'd say Ola back. But if you're in India, you'd talk about the cab booking service, right? Well, that company is now getting into electric scooters, and you know this because the bookings for their first electric scooter are open, and that's the subject of discussion today. Welcome to PowerDrift. If you haven't, please do hit two buttons for me, the subscribe and the bell notification icon, so that India's best automotive content can find you straight away. So, Ola decided to get into the electric vehicle space, and they started doing quite a bit of work, and along the way they acquired a Dutch company called Etergo, which makes a very famous scooter called the AppScooter. And the idea of the scooter actually is very interesting because some of the solutions they found to common design choices are very interesting indeed, and we expect that a lot of those are coming to the Ola Electric scooter, which will be launched in the country very shortly. And let's begin at the most interesting thing for me, and that would be the frame. Now, most scooters are constructed on a metal frame. It's what we call the underbone style, where you have a metal rod or a set of rods that go down the apron under the floorboard and rise up and create the subframe on which the seat and all of that is mounted. But the AppScooter didn't do any of this. It chose to use what is called a monocoque. Monocoques are just a normal way to make scooters. Scooters like the Vespas and derivatives like the Chetak have all used these kind of frames. Except that all of these scooters used a metal monocoque, whereas Etergo uses a composite monocoque, which makes it much lighter. So the net weight of the AppScooter, and I was surprised to read this, is just 74 kilos. And you should know, the lighter I can make a scooter, the more range and the more performance it can gain from the same battery pack and the same motor. They also made interesting choices for the suspension, because if you look at the front suspension closely, it's got a swing arm on one side of the wheel. It's a single-sided front, and you've got a shock absorber that's mounted on top of this swing arm, and that sort of hides under the apron, and the fender is bolted onto that unit. At the back, there is a swing arm. The motor is mounted to the swing arm, and there's a belt that actually drives the wheel. But on top of all of this is a horizontally mounted shock that is actually quite small in size. But the initial reviews from all the people who got to ride the AppScooter said that the scooter actually felt pretty normal. There are cars like, there was the Austin Healey's, there were the Volkswagen Beetle and stuff, which had actual human faces, in the sense that you would always interpret that the car was smiling at you. And Etergo went for a design that looked like that. That's the design that's coming to India. So when you look at the AppScooter, or whatever Ola calls it in India, it is going to look like it's smiling at you, and that's part of the design. It's what humanizes the design, and that's why it looks so attractive. But the rest of the body panels are extremely sleek and extremely futuristic without being too sharp or too soft, which means a wide variety of people should find a resonance with this design, and that's one of the things we liked about the scooter. Even though so far we've only seen the videos Ola puts out, we haven't actually seen the physical scooter itself. Let's talk about the powertrain, because there's some magic going on in there too. What the AppScooter guys did is something interesting, because they had the original model that the batteries would be swappable. So what they did is they created a famous thing called the banana battery. So it looks like a big C, and it sort of slides into the scooter from under the seat, and you can take them out, take them home to charge. Now, this is not always a great solution. When Revolt did the same thing, for example, their battery weighed 13 to 19 kilos, I forget the exact number, but lifting that thing out of the scooter, carrying it upstairs was something that I was just not going to think somebody would be happy to do. But the AppScooter guys, they broke up their battery pack into 3 units, and you could buy one unit at a time. So you could buy the scooter as stock with just one battery pack, 80 kilometers of range, and when you discovered that your life with the scooter required you to go bigger distances, you could just walk in and get a second or a third battery, extending the range to 160 and 240 kilometers. The good news is that spy shots of the Ola Electric scooter have shown an 80% charged battery showing 127 kilometers of range left. So the big range option is finally coming to the market, because I do believe 80 kilometers is a little bit restrictive, although that is what everybody seems to be gravitating to in the market. So if the Ola Electric scooter can give you something like 120, 150 or 200 kilometers of range, I think that will be a massive step forward. I think in terms of buying, allowing you to buy more batteries and add them back to your scooter is also a fantastic idea. I might not be willing to spend a lot of money, so I might spend say 95,000 rupees, get the Ola Electric scooter with just one battery in it. But a couple of years down the line, I might discover that it's a great idea to put a second one in, and then the investment is not that great, and that would be a good thing to do. In the swappable model, the size and shape of the battery was also important, because they were expecting people to carry it on their shoulders, carry it upstairs to their houses and charge these batteries, although that's obviously not going to happen anymore, because battery swapping is not coming to India anytime soon. Until Hero and Gogoro get their act together, the Ola AppScooter is not going to have battery swapping, and Ather, which explored the idea, also nixed the idea. But the opportunity to add batteries to a scooter and extend its range as you live with it, I think is a fantastic idea, and I'd be very surprised if Ola didn't go there. Now, let's talk about the charging and the motor. To give you a frame of reference, the Ather uses a 500-watt charger, but the AppScooter was using a 600-watt charger, and Etergo said that if you were to use a fast charger, you'd be able to charge a 3 battery pack in 2.5 hours, and 1.5 hours was all it would take to get to 80%. I see no reason why Ola would mess with that, so I'm expecting to see a 600-watt charger, and that's not a very powerful charger from the standard of what you use in your home as appliances, but that does mean that the scooter will charge faster. The exact charge times, of course, we'll know once the scooter is launched. But that also means there is a decent range on the scooter. Each battery is worth 80 kilometers, and if we get the 3 battery pack, like I said, we will get 240 kilometers from the scooter. And before we go further, let me also remind you that the Chetak and the iQube, for example, don't have a fast charging option at all. And I'm expecting that Ather and Ola will both have fast charging options, which does give them an advantage. Now, the AppScooter had a 6 kilowatt motor, and that's actually a pretty decent number, because if you look at it, the Chetak has about 4 kilowatts, the iQube has 4.4 kilowatts, and the Ather produces 5.5 kilowatts and peaks at 6 kilowatts. So, if the Ola scooter comes with a 6 kilowatt motor, it will immediately be faster than all of these scooters. If they also have the battery packs on their side, what Ola is promising for you, in theory, is a scooter that goes faster as well as a scooter that lasts longer, and that's a very, very interesting proposition, especially with a company with the might of Ola behind it entering the space with such seriousness, where they've actually gone and invested in what they call the world's largest electric two-wheeler plant. Now that brings us to the biggest thing about the AppScooter, and it's in the name, that's the connectivity options. The Ather has a touchscreen and has a pretty decent menu system as well as an app, right? Well, the AppScooter was created to have that as a central part of the operation. So the AppScooter got a 7-inch non-touchscreen, and this gave you a non-touchscreen because they thought the idea of distractions using your smartphones and all of this were a genuine problem, and avoiding that problem would give them a big jump in the safety of this scooter. So what you get are toggle switches on the right switch gear, and that's how you operate the screen, and I don't see that changing when it comes to India either. Now the screen itself runs Google Android, which means integrations with iOS as well as Android is simpler and can be more powerful, and the AppScooter in Netherlands promised ability to see call notifications, SMS notifications, control your music, and the AppScooter actually has speakers built in, so you can actually listen to the music as you ride the scooter. Obviously the speakers can also be used to make a noise so that pedestrians can be warned that a silent electric vehicle is coming towards them. So based on what we know about the Etergo AppScooter, what should we expect from the Ola scooter in India? Well, to me, all the connectivity features should come as is. There's no reason to mess with it. I think the 6 kilowatt motor makes sense. If they give a more powerful one, I'll be even happier. What I would be really happy to see is the idea of having a battery pack in the scooter and being able to add 2 more battery packs as I live with the scooter. I think that's a very cool idea. In terms of living with the scooter, it looks great. The design is very, very nice indeed. And the underseat storage is going to be a little bit of a game changer because it is genuinely promising to be a really large space. So in sum, this is a very nice bunch of features to have, and I think if Ola can put it together and not mess with the AppScooter's promise too much, they will have a success on their hands. What we know about it today is that bookings are open, as I said, at olaelectric.com. You can book one for 499 rupees, and the rumor is Ola is working very hard towards pricing the scooter under a lakh of rupees, which also means it will be one of the more affordable premium electric scooters in the country, and that makes me very, very excited. So, what is the Ola electric scooter going to be like to ride? Well, that's coming up soon on PowerDrift, so stay tuned. This would be a good time to hit both the buttons at the bottom, subscribe and the bell notification icon, because I promise you, this is a story that you don't want to miss out on.